Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which OP, as a young child in the 1970s, found themselves in a terrifying situation after missing the school bus. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Because I missed the bus, I have to walk to school? So be it. Some setup of the scene. This would have been back in the mid-1970s. I was in elementary school. I don't remember what grade or age, but that school was 1st through 3rd, so I was somewhere between 5 and 8 years old. Although I remember starting to dislike school because of being bullied by classmates in 2nd grade, so it was more likely 2nd or 3rd grade, age 6 or 7. I was expected to do my morning routine, get up, dress, breakfast, and walk to the bus stop entirely on my own. The bus stop was about 500 feet or 1/10 of a mile away and around a sharp corner at the end of the route. This meant that while there was a chance I could see the bus go by if I was running late and on my way, but because of the angles involved, there was little chance the driver could see me if I was late, so they wouldn't know to stop and wait for me. I don't remember if I was dragging my feet or just got up late that morning, but by the time I got to the bus stop that morning, it was too late. The bus had come and gone without me. In the past, when this happened, I'd sadly walk back home, tell my mother, and she'd drive me in. But for some reason, this morning, she decided that it wasn't happening. I don't know if she was trying to teach me a lesson or just had enough or what, but she told me that I had to walk. No, she wouldn't be coming with me. A young girl about 6 or 7 walking about a 2-mile route alone. I was terrified. There were few sidewalks, mostly just dirt paths worked into the side of the road, if that. Plus, due to elements that I now know are not good for a child to go through, by this time, I definitely had issues doing anything wrong in the eyes of adults around me. So I had this additional fear of anyone seeing me on this walk of shame. So I made sure no one saw me. If I saw any vehicle coming, I'd hide. I couldn't handle the thought of anyone witnessing this. I walked and walked and walked. It felt like forever, but I walked the entire way, and I finally got there and walked in the office to report my tardiness. It turns out that my mother had not intended me to actually do that. She had called the school to have someone come and meet me on the route. Not that she said anything about this to me. The bus driver had gotten back into her bus and drove the route they thought I'd have taken. And then when she didn't see me, she then got into her personal car and did it again and again, trying to find me. Multiple people were sent out to look for me, but again, in my mind, I couldn't allow anyone to see me in this shame. Plus, I was old enough to know about stranger danger and was scared about that too. I absolutely was not going to let anyone find me. I think they were actually on the phone to the police when I walked in the office door. As for fallout, I'm sorry, but I can only speculate based on other memories. My mother would have been chastised by the school for not telling me to expect someone to be looking for me to offer a ride. I would have then been punished, yelled at, spanked, grounded, because my mother could never handle being wrong, so it had to be my fault. I don't remember ever having to do it again, though. I wish that mom had actually gotten the cops down there, just so they could hear that it was really all her fault. And our second story. Parking woes. We were doing a lighting upgrade and decided that we wanted to replace one of the ceiling light fixtures with a ceiling fan. We looked at the Lowe's website and found one that we liked and ordered it for same-day pickup. I went out to grab it while the husband was working on getting the new wiring and the box in place. I parked down an aisle about 10 spaces back from the door on the right side. This was the same row that I'd gone in the previous aisle, would have been the left. This row had on my side 3 disabled parking spaces next to the door, 2 veteran spaces next to them, and the rest for everyone else. On the other side, it had the same, but it had a cart return area and then the rest of the non-reserved parking. Here's where the hiccup happened. I got out of the truck and walked toward the store. I saw that there was one of the flat carts in the cart return area, so I cut through the row next to someone else's truck parked in veteran parking, between it and the cart return. I grabbed the cart and headed in. As I was walking, some woman asked me if I served. I said, nope, was a Navy brat, but never served myself, and kept walking. She didn't say anything more, and so it slipped out of my mind. I went in, picked up the fan, and headed back to my truck. Being the scatterbrain that I can be at times, I went down the aisle with the cart return. This was the row I came out of after all, so my brain said to go back down this aisle. As I was walking past the veteran parking, there was the woman again, this time with a manager. They stopped me, and the manager asked if I served in the U.S. Armed Forces. I said that I hadn't, and he said that parking there, pointing to the truck parked next to the cart return, was against store policy and that I could get banned. I pulled out my key fob and showed the manager. This is for a Nissan Titan, and pushed the alarm button. Obligingly, my truck started flashing the lights and sounding the alarm. Parked over there. Pointing to the truck, they were accusing me of parking in a veteran space. This is a Ford Expedition, not my truck. May I go now? The manager sheepishly apologized, and the woman looked annoyed but said nothing. I crossed over and loaded the fan up, walked the cart back to the return. The woman was still there, looking pissed, but still said nothing. Got back to the truck and drive home. I looked her in the eye and said, "Are you satisfied now?" You should have just asked instead of wasting the manager's and my time, and walk off. And our next story. Oh, you want a man? Okay. I work in a field that's dominated by men. In fact, in my office of 30-ish people, only 3 of us are female. My direct boss, one of our QA reps, and myself. My job is a mix of technical support and customer service in a niche industry, and I've worked at my company for nearly 15 years doing the same job. Small company and not a lot of room to move, as we tend to stick around. We deal with clients worldwide, and my department consists of 6 people. Generally, we have 2 to 3 on phones at any given time, 1 on chat, and the other 2 working on different queues. At least 2 to 3 times a week, I'm mistaken by clients as the secretary and asked to be transferred to tech support. My standard response is, "I'm part of tech support. What can I help you with today?" And they're happy to work with me. Occasionally, maybe once every couple of years, someone will tell me they want to talk to a male or a more senior rep. My boss is fine with me accommodating these requests as long as we don't have a queue. On this particular day, we had me and our new team member who had been with the company maybe a year at this point. He's now been with the company over 5 years. 2 of our team members had the day off, and it was later in the day, so the third phone person had finished their shift and gone home. It was pretty busy, and we had a bit of a queue, and the new guy had a pretty difficult issue that he'd been on the call for about 30 minutes. It was also when our management had their off-site, so we literally had no management in the office. I answer a call. Me. "Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number?" Client. "Can you transfer me to support?" Me. "I'm in support. How can I help you today?" Client. "Transfer me to a man. Women don't work in support." Me. "I'm sorry, sir. All our other representatives are on calls right now. How can I assist you today?" Client hangs up. I take the next 2 calls, no issue. The third caller is the same caller. Me. "Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name and account number?" Client. "Can you transfer me to support?" Me. "I am support." The client hangs up before I can offer to assist him again. I take 2 other calls, all the meanwhile helping the new guy where I can, as he's about an hour on the call. Next call up, the same guy. Me. "Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number?" Client. "Can you transfer me to support?" Me. "I am in support. How can I help you today?" Client. "Transfer me to a man. Women don't work in support." Me. "I'm sorry, sir. All our other representatives are on calls right now." Client. "I'm not working with a woman. I want your manager." Me. "I'm sorry, the manager is not in her office at this time." Client. "No, I want a male manager." Me. "I'm sorry, all the managers are away from their desks in a meeting at this time. I can request that one call you back when they're available." The client hangs up. At this point, the queue is clear, and I continue to help the new guy with his issue. 5 minutes later, I get a call. It's the same guy. Me. "Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number?" Client. "Can you transfer me to support?" Me. "I'm in support. How can I help you today?" Client hangs up. Immediately he calls back and I answer again. We have caller ID so I can see it's the same guy. Me. Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number? He hangs up. This repeats about 6 times before I think he finally gave up. The new guy and I are close to fixing his client's issue. Maybe 10 minutes have passed since the guy stopped calling. When he calls back, me. Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number? Client. Is there a mail available yet? The new guy fixes the issue and hangs up, offers to take the call. Me. Yes, one moment while I transfer you to another rep. Client. Finally. I transfer the call and the new guy answers. The client's issue is rather difficult, and after 5 minutes he asks for a more senior rep as the new guy doesn't know what he's doing. Client's words, not mine. The new guy looks at me and mouths, he wants a senior rep, to which I nod and he transfers the call back to me. Me. Thank you for calling company support. This is OP. Can I get your name or account number? Client. I asked for a senior rep, not a female. Me. Sir, I am the senior rep available right now. I've been with the company for over 10 years. Obviously, I know what I'm doing or I wouldn't still work here. The client reluctantly allows me to assist him, and it took me less than 15 minutes to get him going again, as it was an issue we knew about with the version released when I started. And as the new guy never dealt with the older versions, he was still learning the legacy protocols. To the client's credit, they've never asked me to talk to a male again, and more often than not asked to talk to the female in support when they call. I'm glad he changed his tune. Sorry he tied up your lines, though. And our last story. My friend's neighbor is flooding his land, blocking a creek, and causing massive damage. Hey Reddit, I've got a story about my good friend and his nightmare neighbor. My friend's lived in Texas for years, and he actually built his home with his own hands. But recently, his neighbor has been causing all kinds of chaos. The guy runs a business from his home, working on concrete mixing trucks. For months, he's been dumping dried concrete into the creek that runs behind their properties, the same creek that's supposed to help with drainage. Problem? That creek is now blocked for 50 yards. So every time it rains, my friend's land floods. Like we're talking 3 to 4 feet of water covering an acre of his property. It gets so bad that the water comes within 25 yards of his house. And the worst part, it doesn't drain. It just sits there for months, killing off 30 to 40 massive trees. Now he's going to have to cut them down. He's tried handling it the right way. He reached out to Collin County almost a year ago, but he never got any help. The thing is, my friend's an immigrant with limited English and doesn't know his way around computers, so getting anyone to listen has been tough. But despite everything, he stays positive. He told me, I don't want trouble with the neighbor, but my land is dying. It's heartbreaking seeing someone so hardworking deal with this. Update. The tides are turning. Things took a dramatic turn and in the best way possible. I helped my friend file a report with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ, explaining the whole situation. Pictures, videos, everything. Turns out dumping concrete in a creek is a huge environmental violation. The state took this super seriously. Within a couple of weeks, inspectors were out there and things moved fast. They immediately ordered the neighbor to stop all business operations until he cleaned up the creek. They also hit him with some hefty fines for illegal dumping. My friend, he was absolutely relieved. He called me and said, finally, someone listened. Thank you. It didn't stop there, though. The state stepped in to oversee the removal of all that concrete from the creek. Slowly but surely, they've been clearing it out, and guess what? The water is finally starting to drain properly again. No more flooding. My friend's land is slowly recovering, and we're already planning a tree planting party to replace the ones he lost. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.